Are you ready to experience higher worlds? Well, if you are, what you need to do is really start to think about what we're thinking about. Because it turns out in these higher worlds, you get what you think about. And it indeed is the case in this world, but there's a bit of a lag, so much so that people don't realize that that is actually the case. As a man thinketh, so is he. In these higher dimensions, though, like I've experienced in these lucid states, you might want to think of it as the astral plane or the Lingara Sharira, if you're familiar with the Hindi texts and some of theosophy. This is the astral plane, which of course corresponds to the astral body. And this really is a higher level of what we are. If you think of the anatomy of the universe, you are the universe, you are the Atman. You are Brahman, the Ein Sof. What really is happening here is there's basically these temples. In particular, let's talk about the Kom Ombo temple, right? And you can learn more about this in Drinflow Melchizedek's book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. He shows some sort of sections, drawings, and an initiation that they had to go through to, I feel, prepare them for these more lucid states and these higher densities and dimensions. And so what they'd do is they'd have a temple, which supposedly is the only temple that was actually geared towards duality. And so they would present you with a wall and a pool in front, right? And you would know what's in there. Like, you're just told, and you're going to be interested, you're going to be drawn into this, just like a lot of these celebrities are drawn into these mystery traditions today. I don't think they're doing ceremonies and things like this, although they are doing like some bizarre things for sure. You would basically be drawn to it because you realize that there's much more to reality. Like, there's, what we see is not just what we get. There are many unseen forces at play. All this mind, the universe is mental, but we talked about that at length in other videos. So you'd get to this temple and you'd just be faced with a wall and a pool of water, and you're told to go in there and just go there, and you can't come out the same way. And so that would obviously give rise to a lot of fear, especially when you get in there, you start, and they'd go through all this training of like how to hold your breath for a long time and all this kind of stuff. But you'd go in there and it would be pitch black as well. You wouldn't be able to see anything. You're just descending down, perhaps, 10 meters or 8 meters or something, maybe not that deep, but and you get to the bottom, and then the light shines in from the top, and you begin to see, the way out, seemingly. And the unfortunate thing is that there's crocodiles everywhere, swimming around in the water. And at that point, you've already gone down to a certain depth, right? You're holding your breath. You look up, you've got these crocodiles swimming around. Like, what are you going to do? And so people panic, and they think, well, this is the challenge. Okay, I've got to go up there and be courageous and swim past these crocodiles. And so they do that, and they get out the top, and then they're told that they failed the trial, which is going to suck, pretty hard after the ordeal of what you've just been through. But the reason they failed, and they don't tell you this before, but they've actually already fed the crocodiles, so they're very unlikely to actually attack you and eat you, which not many people want to experience. But you failed the test because you unfortunately weren't capable of level-headed thinking at the peak of your fear at the bottom of the pool, where you'd have seen that there was another passageway that actually led further in, but in doing so, you would have come up a passage similar to the one that you descended on the other side, and you wouldn't have actually needed to even swim through the crocodiles. So the point was the challenge of dealing with your mind and the way of thinking in times of distress. And so what they were looking for is simply just someone to get down there and go, okay, these are the options. I can go there, I can go there, I can go. Instead, naturally, everyone's going to look up, see the crocodiles and think, right, I've just got to do this. And, like I say, they get up there and they're told that they've failed. And so why is this important? Why would they do this, And so, like I've alluded to already, what you think about in these lucid states, in this astral plane, all those mind, the universe is mental, is what you get. So a lot of the spiritual path, the spiritual journey in our physical reality is about conquering ourselves, right? Self-mastery. Right? How do you actually want to live your life? Do you want to live your life in fear? There are all these things. Of course, the crocodiles would give rise to a lot of fear in people. where we're seemingly not in control. We're not in the driving seat of our bodies, right? We're not in the driving seat of our lives. We're getting flung around emotionally, torn asunder by our folly, as they say in the Kabbalion. And so if that's the case here, and you have the luxury of not, if you think of a tsunami, if you think of something that you're very have a phobia towards, luckily you're not going to see that manifest immediately. But in these higher planes, that's going to be the case. So you have to be very careful. So the whole point was to raise people's consciousness to a point where they're more in control of their life. And so that when you get into these higher states of awareness, you can simply immunize yourself against these rogue thoughts that you're having, where they're not helpful, right? They're not what you want to experience. So it's all about the refinement of the soul and the improvement of our ways of thinking, so that we can live more harmoniously. Because once you've mastered yourself, you'll see that the outer world will absolutely move and shift towards that which you're actually spending your time. And we talk a lot about destiny and inspired action, and how the formula for creativity, the formula for success on this physical plane emanates from and is driven by our capacity to actually think the way that we want to think. And this is, of course, I feel what's shown to us through the symbolism of George and the dragon and slaying the beast, slaying the lower nature, right? And of course, we've got a government that absolutely is trying to push us down there. But really, what we want to be doing is liberating ourselves from the Stula Sharira, the animal soul, right? We're going to lift ourselves out of there into Solomon's temple, into the cranium, and there you will be able to stabilize yourself. Analogously, this could be driving a car that's running a bit out of control. You brake and it accelerates, you put it into first gear, it goes into reverse. A lot of people are driving their physical vehicles, which is the body, in this way, sort of drunk driving, or we're driving blind. Because again, the video that I've just made about education is absolutely behind that. This is an agenda, okay? So we are the only ones that can get ourselves out of this situation. And if you're interested in learning more about this, I think firstly, you can learn it directly. You don't need any books or anything. You can learn it by way of going out into nature and spiritually evolving in that way. Unfortunately, it's a case where we're living with a lot of agents, right? Everyone has become an agent. Everyone's trying to suck you down into the lower state of consciousness, the bulk of humanity. But we need to lift ourselves out there, and then we can start to experience these higher worlds. In fact, on that note, if you are interested in some literature, I've already mentioned the Drinfalon Melchizedek stuff, but the How to Know Higher Worlds by Rudolf Steiner, fantastic. He talks about the 3 levels of awareness in terms of probation, enlightenment, and initiation. This could also be thought of as the adept, or the apprentice, the adept, and the alchemist. Okay, we'll talk about that in future videos. Anyway, that's it for this video. Do check out that secret of the ancient secret of the flower of life to learn more about that Komombo initiation. We'll talk about pyramids soon as well, what they were really for, because that's also fascinating architecturally and spiritually, metaphysically. Do stick around, do subscribe, do drop your comments below here on YouTube or Odyssey or Instagram, whatever you're watching this. And absolutely go onto newearth.land, because this is all about ultimately a political movement. I don't really like that word political, a bit of a dirty term, but it's about us coming together and raising human consciousness so that we can all be a part of the solution that we want to see in the world. You can check that out at newearth.land. Thanks for watching.